everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and a new Nigeria is certainly possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Today, we have come to have discussion on what is happening in Nigeria. As you know, we are acting in the form of a credible opposition, trying to bring out the things that are happening in Nigeria that government should be aware of, and putting government on their toes on the things needed to be done for people of Nigeria to be on the safe side. Today, let me start with one of the highlights of today in court. As we know, we've been bringing out the issues that are happening in court between Yahaya Bello, EFCC, and co. But a special one happened today, as we know that the court invariably ordered for EFCC to continue searching for Yahaya Bello as they declared that warrant of arrest subsists by way of a pronouncement from a federal high court sitting in Abuja. It has rejected the request by the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to hold trial in the hearing of the 80.2 billion fraud charges brought against him. Yahaya Bello asked the court today to stay execution in his trial before Justice Emeka Wite on the grounds that there is an appeal filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission before the Court of Appeal against the contempt application filed by the EFCC chairman, Ola Olukayode. Now, Justice Wite, in his ruling today, however, rejected the application made by Bello through his lawyer, Abdulwahab Mohammed, which held that the application cannot be entertained unless the defendant is present. In the absence of the defendant, and Justice Wite also held that Yahaya Bello was trying to make rubbish of the criminal case by choosing to stay in his house and not others. All of these are happening today, as we know that a lot of things that went down in court. But again, I must commend the people who are actually in court giving us the information that are really real time on what transpired, because we have been following up this case, and I believe that most Nigerians are. And one of the reasons why we have been trying to follow up this is that the Nigerian Senate seems to be very keen on putting a capital punishment for pushers, for kidnappers. And the idea of putting a capital punishment, that is death sentence for drug pushing, for people who deal on drugs, whether you're carrying and the substance and all of that. But they fail to realize that the same reason why they are trying to make that a put the harsh punishment on the people, it is the same reason that corruption has eaten so deep into Nigeria. Let's take an example of this Kanu post. He said, Senate approved death penalty for drug trafficking. Senate should proceed further to approve the death penalty for corruption. People die from bad roads, hunger, lack of health care, etc., which are consequences of corruption. Now, if you come back to what is happening in Nigeria, you will note that corruption has eaten so deep into the people who work with the government, especially this present government. Even Bola Tinubu, took that very stand when he told the Qatar, when he went there, or the Saudi, I believe the Qatar, that anybody who asks for bribe from you, you should let him know. Well, where are they going to find him to let him know? But the point is this: even Binance has already accused the same Nigerian government of trying to bribe them. We know that it's still under investigation, but it's an allegation. But at the same time, everyone in Nigeria know how the civil servants, the civil service itself is all about corruption. Now, if you did not put that same punishment on the same people who are making things hard for Nigerians, how are we going to look at that? We know about Hadi Sarika, the Nigerian ace scam. We know about that. And we also know that he also went to court on fraud charges just like this. These are criminal offenses. And then they will allow them to get away with it. And we say we want to fight corruption. How can you fight corruption? Corruption should have the maximum penalty that goes with this same thing that the Senate seem to have approved. Corruption should go with the maximum death penalty in Nigeria. That is the way. If you say it is not, please go to the comment section. Tell me it will be harsh on the politicians. But I believe it's the right way to go about it. You will be hearing this person did 80 billion here. The other person did 30 trillion. They will go to court, sort themselves out, and it ends there. But once you put something like that death penalty there, before they do it, they are going to have a rethink. So, my question, somebody said, my question exactly is, what is the penalty for looting public funds? Tell me. But anyway, let's not derail from the Yahaya Bello that we are talking about. I have Ned Media, credit to them, who actually gave account of what really is wrong. If you have not heard, or this is the first time that you're hearing about the issues with Yahaya Bello, EFCC, and all whatnot, I need you to also understand where these issues are coming from. How much looting has gone down in Kogi State, and how the pensioners are suffering all this while he was there. Ned Media gave some very sound explanation that is reasonable by my hearing, and I believe when you listen to what he had to say about that very particular looting by all the properties that are being bought with Kogi funds and all of that, it was so annoying. Let's take a listen to him. Credits to Ned Media.
You will see that it borders on a mental problem. Yahaya Bello is accused of stealing more than 80 billion naira. When you look at this 80 billion naira, it sounds as if it's not much. But digging deeper, you will see that this money is so much that it will outlast Yahaya Bello and up to his 6th generation. Yes, even if Yahaya Bello decides to be spending only 1 million naira every day, this money will last more than 200 years. So you can understand how big that money is. And he stole and laundered all this money while owing Kogi State workers salary arrears of up to 7 years. Yahaya Bello laundered all this money by taking cash directly from Kogi State government accounts, just like it happened under Abacha, outright stealing. They will steal the money first and now use any contract or anything to retire the money to balance the accounts. He did all this through his nephew, one Ali Bello, and the former cashier of Kogi State House Administration, Abu Salami Hudu. In one instance, Yahaya Bello withdrew more than 10 billion naira from Kogi State government accounts. These guys delivered the money to the Bureau de Change operator, who subsequently changed the money to foreign currencies. And from there, Bello was able to transfer some of the money to US bank accounts and buy property in Dubai. That mansion in Dubai is worth 5 million dirhams, and 5 million dirhams converted to naira is about 1.9 billion naira at the exchange rate of 380 naira to 1 dirham. Yahaya Bello isn't ashamed that no one in Dubai, no Dubai citizen or people in government in Dubai ever bought a property in Nigeria. But here we are, he's stealing money from his people, a very poor state like Kogi State. He steals their money, launders it to Dubai, and uses the same money to buy property in Dubai. That's the thinking of the average corrupt politician in Nigeria. Their major objective is to get to power and steal money and enrich themselves and live large on top of the people's money. That's why they spend it anyhow they want. If they are not stealing the money and laundering them abroad, they will be spending them extravagantly. In fact, they are all profligates. Now, let's see other properties Yahaya Bello bought in Nigeria apart from the one he bought in Dubai. One man alone bought several properties, more than 50 of them. But the major ones are, let's start from the less expensive ones. There's this property in Wuse Zone 4, Abuja. He bought that in 2016. It's worth 60 million naira. There's another one in Aminu Kanu Crescent worth 66 million naira. There's another one that is worth 84 million naira. There are many that are worth 100 million naira each. One in Zone 4, one in Wuse Zone 4 Abuja, and the other one in Guzape Abuja. There are other mansions worth 310 million naira in the same Wuse Zone 4 Abuja. There are other ones 412 million naira, 550 million naira. Then you get to the higher ones. Maybe these ones are the hotels. There's one that is worth 650 million naira. There is 920 million naira. And the last one, 950 million naira. This one is in Maitama area of Abuja. So you can see that Yahaya Bello is insatiable. And considering the fact that he installed the current governor, and this same current governor announced to Kogi State residents that if he gives an order and Yahaya Bello gives a contrary order, that they should disregard his own and obey that of Yahaya Bello, it confirms the fact that Yahaya Bello is on a third term in Kogi State. What it means is that the stealing continues. He's on the run right now, but wherever he is, he's still pulling the strings behind the scenes in Kogi State government affairs. Thanks for watching.
Well, we have heard so much about this, but sometimes when you come across some of these things being explained in a way for us to understand the kind of money that is being siphoned out of states, then you find out why there is more poverty in those states, especially the one that happened in Kogi. Now that the court has said the EFCC can proceed, we want the police or the EFCC or whichever law enforcement agency to smoke Yahaya Bello out. Let him come and face the music. Corruption is what is killing Nigeria. We all understand that. It is this same corruption that made us find ourselves in this hardship and all of that. Okay, as you know, talking about hardship, some Nigerians on social media platform X and many other they have started the trending thing about the hashtag Tinubu must go, lamenting the current socioeconomic situation of Nigerians as a result of Bola Tinubu's failed economic policies. In a series of tweets made by different Nigerians on X, they regretted voting Tinubu in 2023 general election. That is for clear. But let's take some of them aside so that we understand where these are all coming from. Royal Spotlight said that Tinubu came to office, settles himself with a yacht, nice car for his first lady. Lawmakers wanted to shout. He shut their mouths with brand new SUVs, settled VPs, chief of staff with humongous allocation to renovate their wings. The rest is tax, tax, tax for Nigerians. Hashtag Tinubu must go. Then we have the son of man who said the cost of living one killed the living, Tinubu must go. So many hashtags of Tinubu must go. Then we have this one from Tima who said, if you saw this cap and still went ahead and voted him, then you are part of the problem. See the connection between the cap and what he is doing. That is coming from Tima. And then we have the gift who said that bacteria is eating Nigeria. It is time for everyone to rise up. Tinubu must go. So this hashtag keeps going and going. Chris said, you must go. You are not our president. We did not vote you. You may have bought the judiciary and INEC to install you, but we did not vote for you, a certificate forger. You will go. Well, let me even stop because I know there is so many hashtags of Tinubu must go. But let's be clear on this. Tinubu is staying and is already at the Aso Rock. We just need to put ourselves together in the way and manner it as constitutionally possible. Some people talk about different things, revolution. Some people talk about protest. But hey, while the journalists are being shut up, you are talking about a protest? Not at this very time. Let us not incite ourselves with this. We have the fuel crisis that is going on. We understand that. We also understand the economic policies that Bola Tinubu is putting Nigerians through. Now, of course, we can come up with our own voices, to, ask the government to shift their ground on the fuel issue. After all, it was done in, I think, during Jonathan's time, it was done. A whole lot of people came out and said, we need to reverse back to status quo. And by and large, negotiations did happen, and we saw the large crowd as at that very time. And when those things happened, a lot of people believe that Chief Bola Tinubu actually, supported or sponsored some of these things. Well, as the allegation as it may be, the important thing is that there was success as at that very time to make Jonathan to go back to drawing board. Now, I don't know if we can go back to drawing board and ask the government to go back to what they are supposed to do, because the policies are not working. Fuel prices, instead of dropping, is increasing. People are buying PMS for 1,900. Some people are buying for 800, as the case might be, everywhere. So what are we to do as a people? Of course, we can do our own, lend our own voice, that people who are in power, people who has that very authority, should negotiate with the government to see how they could be able to reduce at least the price of fuel in this country, so that at least some of the family products, farm and other things can actually start coming down. Is really this. Let's take a listen to what happened at that very time when Jonathan was actually told to reverse on this very fuel. And I believe as this fuel is up, it could still happen. Now, that is not calling for anything other than to, have a discussion with the government to bring down the cost of some of these very things that are very, very high. Let's take a look at least at what happened the last time that they did it.
These things are clear. Our position, the mandate we have, is that government should revert to 65 naira. Then negotiations will commence.
This shows how the masses feel. You can go all over the world. You cannot get what is happening here in Nigeria.
Yes, I think that Nigerians deserve to know the true landing cost of petrol, and Nigerians deserve to know whether this government is still dealing with the subsidy or it has outrightly removed subsidy. Because in even the mainstream media, the talk is that the subsidy payments are still ongoing, and Nigerians are not just talking, and they seem not pushing to know actually what is going on. We need to know the landing cost of petrol. Every Nigerian needs to know that, so that we can start understanding whether the government is actually subsiding this very fuel, or they are just pushing everything, because it has come about tax. And that is what we even have, I think, Dr. Pierce, who actually bought into this very discussion that Nigerians should know the landing cost of this very fuel. Let's take a listen.
Early this year, the landing cost, even late last year, the landing cost of petrol was said to be at 500 naira. That was the NNPC allowance at last year, and this was reported early this year. I mean, it was within that region. So one can only imagine what it is right now, according to the figures that we have.
NNPC is falsifying information.
Oh, those are very huge allegations. And do you have proof?
Yes. NNPC. What about when Kerry says, even when Dangote oil is in full mood, we're not going to have a reduction in price of oil? Doesn't that sound strange to you?
Well, I mean, he has the information, so I think you should present
You know, when you say
information.
He has information,
no, if you say
you
it is,
also say the president should know.
Doctor, if you say that
all of
NNPC,
us are bringing our ideas forward. I believe that NNPC, from what I have seen so far, with the performance of NNPC and the utterances of the chairman, I don't believe anything that's coming from there.
So your belief
especially
is different
people who have
from
been in the
fact.
industry.
Doctor, pardon me. Let me just
will
put this
tell
in.
you
Your
that's a lie.
belief is different from fact. I could believe that what you're saying is not true, but I need to have counterfact. So if you say that the NNPCL has been falsifying information, it's one thing to believe it, it's another thing to authoritatively say it. So do you have counterfact to that
I
effect?
believe people in the industry, marketers in the industry, people who have been working in Shell, in Cornell, so many companies for 30 years, telling me that this is what the cost of landing is. There have been many videos. Many people have said exactly what I'm saying now.
Okay, so what you have essentially secondary information, not facts at hand.
No, but what is fact? Am I working in NNPCL?
No, you said that authoritatively.
What do you mean by
that
fact?
The NNPCL is falsifying
That's
information.
That's what I'm saying, because
but you don't have facts
this
to
is
present
what
to us.
I have read, this is what I have seen, this is my analysis of the situation, based on what I have researched, what I have seen, what I have heard from so many people who are specialists, who have experience in the industry.
To summarize right there, but the important thing and why this is needed for us to know that even the people that you think seem to be informed are not really informed. Nobody can come out now and tell you authoritatively that the price of the landing cost of petrol is this or that. That has been shrouded in secrecy, and it keeps making things worse and worse all the time. Well, again, I think we have to leave that very part of all what has been happening. Then I want to bring something to your attention about the controversial Cybercrime Act. This very Cybercrime Act that has been talked about so much tend to bring billions of naira to NSA, the Office of the National Security Advisor. This very particular cybercrime is one of the things that Sowore actually explained to people when they went on a protest in Abuja. And talking about that very protest, it was all about journalists. And the journalists, when they came out in their numbers, they forced the FCT police, the commissioner of police, to agree that they are going to release one of their own, the Ojukwu case that has been going on for a while. Let's take a listen to what transpired in Abuja in the case of Sowore. I believe that the journalists, they acted in good faith, and the police heard the voice when they went on that very protest, even when they think that the protest was not needed. But then they promised that they are going to release. I believe by now, because they said from that very place where the protest was holding, that they are moving straight to go and release the young man. Let's hope that he has been released as at this very time. But let's take a listen from that very conversation with Sowore and the protesters, plus the Commissioner of Police, FCT. Let's take a listen.
When I remember Daniel, I remember injustice. What I run away we are, what away we are, yo. When I remember Daniel, I remember injustice. What
I'm going there, don't worry.
No, he's at the FCID. There's no need for
FCID now.
FCID now?
That's what I'm
where
telling you.
He's the CPFCT now.
You're
explaining to me about him? Did you just start doing
don't worry.
When he was still Decompo Alpha, we are together.
Yes. So meet me in my office.
It was because of me that I got promoted, because he beat me up.
So told him, meet me up. Make we meet. You know, pay color.
Release this man first.
Don't worry, he's going. I'm doing something.
Thank you, sir.
So it was very clear when the Commissioner of Police, FCT, said they were going back to release the guy, and he gave those promises, and I'm going to bring you back to that interview just for a minute. Before I bring the interview that I called between the Commissioner of Police, who gave his word that he is going to release that very person, that journalist on that same. So you see the power of the protest that they did. You see what they were able to get out of the police Commissioner of Police, FCT, who gave them his word just to make sure that there is peace and calm in the FCT to say that they are going to release the journalist. That is the power of coming together in one voice and asking something that is constitutional but not getting into violence. Now, before I bring that, let me bring your attention to what I've been mentioning yesterday about this very tax 0.5 tax law and the amount that is going to be accruing to the office of the National Security Advisor. That is about 415 billion monthly. 415 billion. The Office of the National Security Advisor under Nuhu Ribadi said to rake in about 415 billion monthly from the 0.5 cybersecurity levy on all electronic transactions. 415 billion. Well, the Central Bank of Nigeria issued a circular, as we know, dated May 6, 2024, to call all commercial banks, non-interest and payment service banks, as well as mobile money operators and payment service providers to start deduction of 0.5%. That is 0.5% as cybersecurity levy on all electronic transactions carried out by Nigerians. Now, checks by us on the portal of the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBS, showed that the value of electronic transactions in the country stood at about 83 trillion. Total transactions on NIBS showed 83 trillion. Now, by March, the value of electronic transactions in the country has surged to all-time high of about 83 trillion. That is what we saw on NIBS. Now, calculating 0.5% of 83 trillion gives approximately 415 billion, which give or take will be the sum due to the Office of the National Security Advisor. Monthly, this is monthly, depending on the volume of electronic transaction in this country. It will be recalled that the new levy of this 0.5 equivalent to 0.5% is applied to electronic transactions as mandated by the Cybercrime Prohibition Prevention Amendment Act of 2024. They amended it and added all of this during this very Tinubu's time. Ribadu had recently called for the full implementation of this Cybercrime Prohibition Amendment Act. Now, including the operationalization of the National Security Cybersecurity Fund by all regulators and businesses specified in the second schedule of the Act. A statement signed by the Head Strategic Communications Office of the NSA, Zakari, said the directive was part of efforts to secure Nigeria's critical national information infrastructure, counter terrorism, violent extremism, strengthen national security, and protect its economic interests. The levy is to be paid by the originator of the electronic transaction, deducted by the financial institution. The deducted amount shall be reflected in the customer's account with the narration of cybersecurity levy. Subsequently, financial institutions are expected to deduct the levy and remit to the National Security Fund to be domiciled by the Office of the National Security Advisor. And now I am bringing to you that the total amount that they are to rake in is 415 billion. Not million, billion monthly. The Office of the National Security Advisor, is it a revenue collecting agency? Please go to the comment section and just let me know. That money is too much. It's so much going into that very office. The deducted amount must be remitted in bulk to the NCF account domiciled at CBN monthly by the 5th business day of every month. Financial institutions have deadlines to update their systems to handle levy deduction remittances. Failure to remit the levy could result in penalties, including a fine of up to 2% of a financial institution annual turnover. This is mandating the banks to make sure that this money is being collected. Going to one office. Is that office a revenue collection agency? What is happening to the National Assembly? Have they seen this? Well, I think that is as much as I could get through on this. The questions are there. Go to the comment section. Tell us how you feel about this very thing. Should it go there, or should it be done the normal way that taxes are gotten should be gone, so that accountability should take place in those places? But before we go, before I bring you this interview about the release of the journalist and the protest that ensued in Abuja before that, which I brought earlier, let me remind all of us, wherever we are, whether we are well-meaning Nigerians and especially for obedience, please and please, look around you in every local government. We understand that every obedient is in different local governments in Nigeria. But we want all of us to come together, to connect together as one. Doing business together in the welfare arrangement. And that's why for the past month we have been pushing out for everyone wherever you are. Get registered in the Obidient Family Cooperative Society in your respective local governments. Let us start to know what is happening in our communities. Let us know what is around us. Let's also give an identity to obedience in our communities. Let's bring sensitization and welfare arrangement in this very form. And we keep saying, this is not a time for what do you call it, politics, but it's a time for welfare. There is hunger and starvation in the land. And I have obedience who are in diaspora and elsewhere who has reached out to Obidient Family TV that they are willing to support any of the obedience that are registered into an entity. As we can see, so many people have registered in different states. Kanu State, I can tell you that we have registrations about 10 local governments in Kanu State alone. And those are being handled by the obedience in Kanu State. We have about 16 local government profile for registration in Niger State. We have about 13 local government already registered in Cross River State. And those obedience right there are reconnecting themselves to their communities, making sure that there's an integration of all obedient members in their local government to join them in a cooperative manner. We need to start trading and doing business with ourselves. We need to know who we are. We need to identify these coordinators and identify the people who actually are handling obedient matters in different local governments. That we can together. So, wherever you are, please do check on the link that leads to the community WhatsApp platform on this Obidient Family TV. It's on the broadcast here. If you wish and willing to make sure that the new Nigeria we are talking about to be possible, then join the grassroots arrangement that is happening right now, wherever you are. If you're in diaspora, of course, you could support this very endeavor by simply looking at the account of those, the cooperative society there, to assist in the registrations of these cooperative societies in different local governments. What do? When we receive some support, we forward those supports to some local governments that are yet to be registered, but they have formed their quorum. They have actually set up their structure in their ward, in their local government, and in their various states. They have set them up, but there are no funds to be able to get them registered. Some states take up to 50,000, 30,000, 25,000 to get registered with the state government. They need, all these obedience need to be identified. This obedience need to have an entity, an identity where they are, so that they can all reconnect and still push towards our goal, which is for a better Nigeria. A new Nigeria is certainly possible. And if you believe on that, please, either you support them on this registration or you join if you're in Nigeria. Click the link to join the community, and then we can now direct you. You will see when you enter the community, you will see all the profile local governments in Nigeria that are already there, and you join them. Please, we do believe that obedience will do the needful. Until tomorrow, when we come your way again, let's take the lesson on what happened in Abuja, the protest, and how the suspect was promised to be released afterwards. Until tomorrow, bye for now.
Every Nigerian citizen has his rights, which includes journalists. For the fact somebody is a journalist does not exculpate him from offense. If you're a journalist and you commit strong offense, we will arrest you and we will prosecute you, and like every other citizen. For the fact you're a journalist and you commit an offense does not mean you will not be arrested and you will not be prosecuted. So this one, we have looked into the matter. There's no need of this protest. The force management team has taken a lot of things into consideration to release him. We and the press are friends. We are partners in progress.
But CP, sir, the police has refused to prosecute him. They are yet to arraign him. He met his bail condition. They failed to release him.
And they are not saying that they are going back to the initial bail condition was due director. And Ojukwu has spent.
What I wanted, is it not in Lagos?
No, he's currently here. He was abducted in Lagos and transferred here.
What we are saying is that into the matter, there's no need for the protest at all, because every Nigerian, including the journalists, including Ojukwu, is entitled to his rights and privileges. No. If Don't worry. Yes, he's been taken care of. He's been taken care of. So there's no need for any protest.
But when will he be released?
He will be released soon. I'm giving you assurance from here now.
How soon, please?
From here now, I'm going there.
To meet the IG?
Don't worry. I am the CP FCT.
I know you, sir.
Every other office is within FCT, including the first CID. So I'm talking with the DIG first CID. That's why I said I don't need to disclose everything on the media. That's why I said he will be released.
The civil society and the journalists said that they will continue
to protest on.
No, there's no need. There's no need.
Until he's released, that's when they'll stop the protest.
There's no need. There's no need for the protest.
Good afternoon. We need to know where he released.
I am assuring you, for those who know me, will know that my word is my bond. For those who know me should know that I can't just talk in vain. For those who know me should know what I speak for. So leave this matter is being taken care of. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you.
So even bloggers. This is something that the Nigerian elites have connived together to be using to suppress people. Apart from Daniel Ojukwu, I am facing cybercrime charges at the Federal High Court. That's what brought me back from America last Tuesday. For a story written by Sahara reporters against Ned Nwoko. You know, there's a guy called Ijele Sukuma Ofegbu, who is also in detention for 40, it should be 50 days now. 50 days. Because one pastor in the East said that Ijele said on Facebook that he should present evidence of his miracles. He came to the police and got him arrested. And the police summarily took him before a magistrate and detained him at Kefi prison. And after 14 days, they got another magistrate to issue another detention warrant for another 14 days. And now, we went to try and Deji's in court as we speak, Deji Adeyanju, to bail him. And the police wrote last week that they need another adjournment. So we don't know what is happening in court now. A lot of people, so many people that we don't even know have been detained as we speak under the Cybercrimes Act of 2015. And it has been amended by the Tinubu regime, and Tinubu has assented on it. But the police here is saying that they don't care about the amendments.
So what is the solution to all of this?
The solution is for all of you journalists to give the police a blackout. And I was disappointed when I got here this morning, and journalists are not here in their thousands. All the journalists in Nigeria should have shut down, black out the federal government for this day. It's not about Daniel Ojukwu. They are after your jobs. They want to make sure that you cannot write what the police does not approve of. And your job as journalists is to expose, is to shine light on the government. Your jobs are guaranteed in the Nigerian constitution, their so-called 1999 constitution. Just as the police has a constitutional right to do what they are doing, journalists in Nigeria also have a constitutional right to write whatever they find necessary to protect the democracy in the country, to protect the masses. That's your job. But the police want to sit in their stations and control what you write with the Cybercrimes Act of 2015. And don't forget, for those of you who may not know, the Cybercrime Act was signed into law by Jonathan. So when they are telling you that, when we tell you that this government, APC and PDP are the same, you get my point. Look at where we are now. We are discussing the release of a journalist in 2024. What the Cybercrime Act means with regards to what they have done to Ojukwu is what they call the sedition law during the pre-colonial and colonial era, where if you write anything against the white man who were the colonial masters, they will just summarily arrest and detain you indefinitely. That's what they are doing to Daniel Ojukwu now. And I've been involved in the last few days trying to get him bailed. The police is giving conditions, bail conditions as if Daniel Ojukwu committed murder. Go and bring 2 directors in the Federal Civil Service with landed property. How can you be a director in the Federal Civil Service and have landed property in Abuja if you are not corrupt? That's another oxymoron. So that's what they are doing. But I think they are also pushing the Nigerian people once again. You see, as we keep telling them, this is how we started NSAS. We came here, said, you should disband NSAS. They said, no. Uba was his police spokesperson then. We met here. We told them very soon, this thing will consume you. In their usual arrogance, they objected to it until the whole country went down. Because they don't understand that beyond what they are doing to Ojukwu now, Nigerians are very upset with the government. Don't forget that this Cybercrime Act is also the reason why the Central Bank of Nigeria is now extorting money from you to pay for a cyber security levy. It's part of the Cybercrime Act. So, but the interesting thing is that the CBN is using the amended Cybercrime Act to extort you. The police is using the old Cybercrime Act to oppress journalists. That's the only difference. So you should understand what it is.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.